Dear students, today's the topic is the chemical bonding. Before we start the chemical bonding, I would like to tell you the two important concepts which is the basic call of chemical bonding. Number one is the octet rule. What is the octet rule? The tendency of an atom to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell except K shell is known as octet rule. That means every atom wants to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell, right? This is one of the important point to be noted. Now the second is the duplet rule. Duplet rule says the tendency of an atom to have 2 electrons in the K shell. Point to be noted, in the K shell is known as duplet rule. So, to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell or to have 2 electrons in the K shell is the basic need for every atom to be stable in the nature. And that is the root cause for the chemical bonding. Now, the question arises, why the chemical bonding takes place? The chemical bonding takes place, number one, to complete duplet or octet. Means by any of the way, every atom wants to have either 2 electrons if its outermost shell is the K shell, or have 8 electrons if its outermost shell is other than K shell, that means L, M, N, any of the shell, right? Now, the second very important point is to get the nearest noble gas structure. Means you must have studied in the periodic table, there are periods. The horizontal rows are known as periods. So in a period, every atom wants to get the inert gas structure of the nearest noble gas. For example, sodium, it has a configuration 11, right? So what it wants is configuration will be 2, 8 and 1. So what does it want? If it loses one electron, so what will be there? It will have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, and its octet will be completed. So what is the tendency of sodium? To lose 1 electron from the outermost shell. It is one of the very important point to be noted that to attain this 2 and 8 structure. How come? By the loss of 1 electron, it becomes 2 and 8. Right? 2 and 8 means which gas? It becomes helium and neon. The structure will be of neon. Right? So this is what? This is the concept of every atom to attain the inert gas structure. Right? Now, the third and the most important point of the chemical bonding means the need to participate in the bonding is to get the minimum energy state. You know, students, the atoms are highly energetic. Alright? So, what happens when they are individual? They are not stable. They are highly energetic. Right? Unstable. So, what happens? When they come close to each other, right, then at a point, what happens? They settle themselves in such a way that there is a minimum energy between these two atoms, right? So that is the state when the chemical bond takes place. So molecule is stable, you know, molecule is stable but atom is not stable. So why it is so? Because molecule is having lesser energy, it's having more and more stability than the atom. So what is the third most important point for the atoms to take part in chemical bonding is to get the minimum energy state so that it may be stable in the nature, right? So this is what? The very important point due to which the chemical bonding takes place. So children, I hope you must have understood these concepts. What is octet rule? Having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. What is duplet rule? Having 2 electrons in the outermost shell if the shell is a K shell. Okay, it's going to be a K shell. Then 2 electrons in the outermost shell. And then how come these two concepts are responsible for a chemical bonding? Because every inert gas have either 8 electrons in the outermost shell or 2 electrons in the outermost shell. Then in that case, every atom by the loss of electron or by the gain of electron, it wants to attain the nearest noble gas structure. Alright, and once they get the nearest noble gas structure, what happens? Their energy becomes the least, means they come into the stable form, and when they come into the stable form, they form a molecule. By what? By which method? By chemical bonding. Alright, so I hope you must have understood the concept for chemical bonding. In the next video, I will tell you what kind of bonding is there. There are two kinds of bonding basically, that is the ionic and covalent bond, that we will discuss in the next video. Thank you children.